And we have breaking news. Amazon making a last-minute bid to buy TikTok in the U.S. This massively popular social media app is facing a deadline later this month to separate from its Chinese owner. President Trump is meeting with Vice President Vance and other top advisors about TikTok today. NBC News business and data correspondent Brian Chung joins us. Brian, what do we know about this?
Yeah, and a source familiar with the matter can confirm to NBC News the original report from the New York Times saying that Amazon had put in this last-minute bid to acquire all of TikTok. However, the source did stress to NBC that it was not seen as a serious bid. Again, what we're talking about here is that deadline of Saturday for TikTok to be sold by its Chinese owner, ByteDance, or else face a ban in the United States. And if this is deja vu to those that have been following the TikTok story, that's because we had the same conversation back in January, shortly after the Supreme Court upheld the law that was passed on a bipartisan basis and signed into law by former President Joe Biden that did that exact ban, basically telling them to divest or face being shut down entirely in the United States. The current president, Donald Trump, announced just as he was getting inaugurated, essentially, that he was going to effectively not enforce that law up until this deadline of this Saturday. Now you do have this scramble to try to find buyers. There have been a number of high-profile names that have thrown their names into the ring for potentially buying TikTok, like Kevin O'Leary as well as Alexis Ohanian. Now Amazon apparently part of that mix as well. To be seen whether or not any of these bids will ultimately be the one to win it all by the time we get to Saturday. But of course, a lot can happen between now and then. But a lot happening in D.C. and a lot of eyes on potentially who could be the next owner of TikTok if the Chinese government permits it, which is another wrinkle here, Jose.